There's Caitlin if the clicker doesn't work. So some of these might seem this was designed to be a little bit longer for other, and some of you've seen this presentation. So I'm going to just kind of zip through it and see if are you taking questions if you reserve enough time? Okay. Anyway, thank you, David, for all you do and for the forum bringing us together once again after all these years. Hello, Tim. Just a fun fact. The size of West Virginia, a lot going on, very diverse communities. This side of the inlet, about almost half's on the other side. A lot of opportunity there. We're focused on all of it. Where is the thing that I'm pointing at? Next slide. That one didn't. When I came into the borough, they were working on a project on mission, vision, values, and it was all very internal focused. We are now very external focused. Our mission is to provide services and a focus on our needs as borough residents as opposed to what happens inside the building. I have noticed that being embraced by the organization, which is, I called it a rudderless ship. It's no longer rudderless, and the reason for that is all of the mechanisms that make the rudder steer, and that's the great team that we have at the borough. Sometimes people need to just have direction, and I think together we've headed in that area. Next slide, please. The top of our org chart is 60,000 citizens. It's not me. It's not the assembly. It's the people we serve. We have no reason to exist without those we serve. We have no reason for the powers that we have, which have been provided by those individuals as a second-class borough. Next slide is our leadership team. Great team. Couple went away. After I got there, they had a nice letter for helping them secure their next employment. Very productive, very capable, expert team. I'm very proud of them. I think some great things have been happening in the last year. Next slide. Our marching orders come from the powers given by the people. Those are the only powers we have as a second-class borough. We want to keep it that way. The reason that we have remained an affordable place to live, work, play, and visit is because we've limited those powers to the basics, and our intention is to remain lean and mean. Some of our next slide primary focus areas have been a drama-free, functional, professional environment. I'm not going to read them all, but that was pretty important. When I got to the borough, this isn't a joke. I was on the Leech River Center board for years. They had the posture of folks that were extremely uncomfortable at the workplace. Everyday people have known their whole life look very uncomfortable, and they look a little happier these days, which is nice. It's nice to be able to set free people so that they can do what they do best every day. We've updated our policies. We've invited Kenai Peninsula residents into the building. We have a great partnership with the school district. We work together every day on issues that normally, it's funny because I got in, we started meeting with mayors, we started meeting with city managers. We've come together with the chambers so that we can make our buck go as far as possible, resulting in a better outcome. We interact effectively with the district. We work with our hospital boards and with our hospitals. It's fascinating that we had such incredible opportunities that because of the structure of our government can essentially be shut down for 5 years. Can't happen again. My goal is to weaken this position so that it can be effective with adequate interbranch checks and balances that I think we're missing and are harmful. Next slide. Oh, wait a minute. We're way ahead. Okay. You read my mind. This is an important slide. So we talk about housing issues, we talk about opportunity. We have never had a land use plan in the Kenai Peninsula Borough. So we just sold stuff. Buddies would call the mayor and say, hey, I'd really like a piece of property. They'd do an over-the-counter agreement. They'd sell a piece of property. This one is the former town of Sunrise. So right now, a bunch of folks from Anchorage are commuting to Hope, which is a little further than Sunrise on Hope Highway. We sold the town of Sunrise 1,400 acres not too long ago to one individual for $200,000. 1,400 acres is a town. So I want you to think about that. We have a small land sale coming up right now, but in the future, we're evaluating and surveying for some smaller residential properties. But until we have a comprehensive land use plan, don't come to me for a negotiated sale. It's not going to happen. We are going to have a plan before more of our future leaks out the door or something as foolish as 1,400 acres in Sunrise that went to one attorney from California. Next page, this is what the land use plan is going to look like. We're going to categorize our lands into residential, industrial, commercial, institutional. We're going to have a plan of what our community will look like in the future. It is the seed corn of our future. We're working hard to receive ownership in our municipal entitlement of 53,000 acres that we have not yet received. The Department of Land and Water has made it impossible. And if we can't revise the survey standards, I've spoken to other municipalities for a class action suit in the state of Alaska to receive what is ours. It is our future. And what we see is the longer it languishes, the more lands we get stepped over by other entities. We've lost some choice lands to other entities. I've got 5 minutes. Okay, next. We're in budget season right now. The budget that is going to be on the table at the next meeting is 2.5% more than last year. Last year's was 2.57% more than the year before. We are on a CPI philosophy so that we can remain affordable over time, working with all our entities that depend on our funding and that work internally with the borough. The 2 previous years before that resulted in a 16% increase in our budget. I don't know what your family's budget looks like or your business or organization's budget looks like, but 16% 2 years is the definition of unsustainable. And really not for any good reason. That there was not a plan that said these are temporary expenditures over CPI, typical budgetary process, because of this thing that will result in this benefit to the people of the borough for the next generation. It was just unplanned spending, if you will. And our budget philosophy, I've just talked about that a little bit. We've had the first couple of balanced budgets in a very long time, 10 years. We are going to base it on the real cost of increase, or cost of living increase in the state of Alaska. It's what makes a government affordable over time. Some of that's going to be pushing back on new services when they come up. The others is just going to be understanding what increased valuation looks like over time, which is not a good thing. It's part of that is supply and demand of housing. We're working on that as well with a lot of the people in this room. But it doesn't work out well for the borough. We want smooth and stable. And when you get large amounts of tax increases, somebody wants to spend them. They typically want to spend them on a service that you then inherit in perpetuity that you can't afford as costs increase in the future. So we have made some suggestions to the legislature who are looking at some various bills to limit the amount that could be increased every year. I guess what I want to say is this isn't a populist thing. This is a pragmatic approach. Populism is the bane to healthy policy. We see it all the time. We do things because they sound good, not because they're functional. We're focused on functional, and it does matter. Next slide. It matters to you, your kids, and your grandkids. We're back on that curve, and we hope to remain there. We have a new focus on borough employees. We've got some great folks. I gave a coin last week to Mr. Rizzo and Cassidy, my admin, but we've got some long-term folks and an amazing amount of capacity and commitment to the people of this borough, and that should be recognized regularly. Back to an Employee of the Month program. Those are folks that are nominated by their peers. That's the pool manager for Micciche, and we're trying to get out. We spend a lot of time in places like Seward and Homer and in between. We visit those remote service areas that sometimes feel like stepchildren. I don't think you're allowed to say redheaded anymore. But we want everyone to feel like they're an intimate part of this 60,000 person team. Okay. I have 1 or 2 minutes for questions, and I'm happy to take them if anyone has any. Okay. Oh, yes, Alex. So we have radio ads running. We've talked to every group. We have links out there where folks can go. Does that mean my time's up? Or as you drive around, you'll see the auction house signs. We saw a few on the way to Seward last night. So go to the main page, scroll down to Hot Topics. The third from the last on Hot Topics is the land sale, and it talks all about what's available and where it's located. Okay, thank you very much.